This video is about the sound card that I use in my RC models. This is the second one I've brought of this type. It's called the TBS Mini by Benedini. They do a TBS sound card which is larger and it has more pins and more functionality, but this one here is the mini version. It's quite small. It's a nice small footprint. Standard servo, Traxxas servo, and that's the sound unit there. So, or alternatively, tactic receiver, about the same width and almost the same length. So very small footprint for such a powerful little card. This one here that I've ordered is been set up with the indirect programming mode and the MAS 537 sound set. When you order from Thomas, you need to specify which programming mode you're going to use and what sound set you want on it. And you can listen to samples of most of those on his website. And you could also buy these on his website, which is benedini.de. Just email Thomas, tell him what you want, and he will pre-program the card for you. So it'll be pretty much set up and ready to go. Because this is indirect sound setting, it's come with two leads. This one here is the throttle, and this one here is for the indirect selection. With the way I'm going to set this up for controlling the truck, the throttle and steering will be the stick, and this stick here I'm going to use as the sound selector. You need a two-way switch, so I'm going to use that, or I could use this one up here, but this one's spring-loaded and I'm not needing to use this stick anyway because it's a truck. So that's how I'm going to set up the transmitter and the receiver. So having said that, this is the receiver. I've just got a Tactic 6 channel. I'm taking this lead here, which is on the second set of pins. This is the throttle control, so that goes into channel 2 on this. Okay, this is where this is the channel here I would usually plug my speed controller into. So I'm not plugging my speed controller into the receiver. I'm taking, this is just a junker I've got sitting around so we can pair it up. This speed controller is going in here, the third set of pins in, and on the back it's prop 1 and prop 1. They're your throttle. They control the sound, idle, start up sound, accelerate, etc. Okay, so now I've got this one. Because I'm using indirect sound selection, this is going to go to the channel that maps to my second stick, left and right, which is channel 4 on this receiver. So that's that. She's in. So now in effect, signal is received from the transmitter and the receiver. It's passed into the sound unit, intercepted to do what it needs to do with the sound, and then passed back through into the speed controller to control the motor. Before we plug it in, I almost forgot one of the most important things. Yeah, I ain't going to get any sound out of it if I don't plug a speaker in, am I? So I'll just pop the speaker on the floor, get out of the way. I've just jerry-rigged up a plug here temporarily using a bit of it's a 4-pin plug from a computer, but I've only got the 2 center pins fed here. When you're plugging in your speaker, it's important to note that you only use the top 2 pins here, you don't use the bottom pin. You do use that if you're using an amplifier, I do believe, but if you're going straight to a speaker, just the first 2 pins, the instructions are pretty clear about that. It could end in tears, I think, so make sure you use the top 2 pins, do yourself a favour. Okay, right, let's plug this in. Well, I think we're ready to rock and roll. First thing, transmitter on. You can hear the beep, that's the sound unit saying it's awake, it's here. So what we're going to do is program this card. Actually, I'll zoom in so you can see what I'm doing a bit easier. See that little blinking light there? Okay, so that's saying it's in normal operating mode. When you first plug it in, you want to train it to the throttle. So I should try and get it so they're all in the picture at the same time, but it's not going to happen. Basically, turn this on, it's blinking rapidly. Make sure that your throttle is in center, neutral zone. Then push and hold the programming button. There you go, you hear a single beep and it's on solid green. That tells you that it's it's set its neutral point. I'm just going to back out some. Because I'm in indirect sound selection mode, the rest of the programming of this is different to it would be if you were using auto start or direct programming mode. And I suggest you read the manual if you want to know how to do those. But for now, I move this out of my neutral zone into my start the acceleration sound effect point and flick the selector across. That sets that. Then I go to full noise. Same thing. Now, back to rapid flashing green. It's out of programming mode and it is now ready to run mode. So, because I'm using indirect sound selection, nothing going yet, right? If I was in auto start mode, as soon as I flipped my trigger, it would start up the start sequence and the idle sound, and then it would go vroom vroom. Because I'm in indirect, I select it with slot 1. Indirect pretty much means every flick across this way is moving up a sound slot. And moving across that way is turning it off and on. So if I go 1, okay, so start and stop is there, so no vroom. That's pretty much it. So that's the motor sounds. There are other slots with the sound set already built in. So let's say I want to see what's on sound slot number 2. That there, I expect, is a rev sound effect, would be my guess. If I go to sound slot number 3, is a funny sounding horn. That's sound slot 4, and so on, and I think you get about 8, 16 odd sound slots. That's why you use indirect sound if you want to have a lot of sound effects. And also, it's important to remember that me flicking to sound slot 4, for example, and hitting that sound, I can also tell the sound unit When that sound is played, also fire this pin here and control the servo or turn on a light. And that's it's set up this way for people that are using tanks and aeroplanes, for example. A common usage is flash LEDs and play the machine gun sound. So this card is set up for tanks and aeroplanes. So I'm running out of storage space on this card, so I'll stop there, and we'll talk about adding your own custom sounds to this card and programming it to control